Seems like UFOs or UAP sightings are more common these days. With modern technology and their advancement, there seems to be easier ways to debunk certain unexplained things. Is it a drone, a SpaceX launch, a balloon animal? Who knows? From ancient times to as recent as 2023 back in February, there's also some kind of unexplained sightings all over the world, located in our skies. Hi, my name is Jessa, and I'd love for you to stick around and welcome our top 10 real UFO sightings in history we can't ignore. Number 10. A star fell from the sky. Although it's still left up for debate on what this record entails, it's still considered one of the earliest documentations of UFO activity on Earth. After conquering the ancient Nubian city of Napata, Thutmose III erected a steel or a stone slab at the temple of Amun beneath the cobra-shaped Jebel Barkal. The stele described how a star came down to set fire to Thutmose's adversaries, quoted, "You ought to know the wonder of Amun-Re before the entire land. Enemies and troops were about to come in order to meet in the night, as to conduct the regulated watch. It was the second hour, and a star came to the south of them. Something similar had not occurred earlier, and it shot at the enemy from its proper place. It was like they were being overthrown upon their own blood and fallen into heaps of flame. Being behind them and fire was in front of them, they were incapacitated and were unable to flee." End quote. Although the star could have been a stray meteoroid or something from the sky that fell, as it's noted space junk made of debris commonly falls onto the Earth's lithosphere, but details of this event still remains unsure and is up for debate. Number 9. Angel hair. It's clear dating back in ancient civilizations where records in detail were scarce, there was still some ways humans were able to document what they've seen. Historian Lucius Cassiodeo, who lived between 165 to 235 AD, was known for publishing 80 volumes of the history of ancient Rome. Typically in his writings, he would summarize the events he'd seen, but eventually it became more detailed. After he sought witness an odd phenomenon in the Roman emperor's sky in 196 AD. He describes, in quote, "a fine rain resembling silver descending from a clear sky upon the form of Augustus," end quote. He used some kind of material to plate some of his bronze coins, but by the fourth day, the silvery coating of the material was done. The coating is also referred to as angel hair, or a fibrous substance reported in connections with UFO sightings and even manifestations of the Virgin Mary. Described as cobweb-like texture and design, reports of angel hair says that it disintegrates or evaporates within a short time of forming. Whatever it was, there is research that the angel hair, also known as angel grass, do typically look like short metallic threads fallen from the sky, often forming intertwined loose masses. They are a type of chaff or radar countermeasure which can be in the form of fine strands, which is typically dropped by military aircraft. It can also come from the sounding rocks and balloons of high altitudes. So what was it doing in 196 AD? Number 8. Kenneth Arnold. Kenneth Arnold was an American aviator, businessman, and politician. He is best known for what is considered the first widely reported modern UFO sightings in the U.S. On June 24, 1947, Kenneth Arnold claimed to have had a string of 9 shiny unidentified flying objects flying past Mount Rainier at speeds that Arnold estimates a minimum of 1,200 miles per hour. This was the first post-World War II sighting in the United States that garnered nationwide news. And of course, being credited as the first UFO sightings, a number of more sightings would be reported in the following 2 to 3 weeks later, and Arnold's description led the press to coin the term flying saucer. However, this wasn't immune to others trying to commit a hoax, as Arnold tried to interview those who also claimed what they saw. Unfortunately, this led to 2 Air Force officers losing their lives trying to investigate those claims. The aftermath led to a mix of yes and no's, fake or not fake controversies. Whatever Kenneth Arnold saw, he ended up seeing 7 more additional sightings, one of which he says the saucer even looked like a jellyfish. Maybe this is a story where Jordan Peele got his inspiration for Nope. Number 7. Lubbock Lights. Imagine after a long day at the office, you and your coworkers decide to hang outside on a nice evening, when suddenly all 3 of you look up and you see it. A semicircle of bluish-green lights flying above you at high speed. For 3 scientists from Texas Tech, that's exactly what they saw one evening on August 25, 1951. Over the next following days, dozens of reports of the exact sighting flood all over crosstown. The Texas Tech freshman Carl Hart Jr. even snapped multiple photos of the so-called Lubbock Lights. The professors weren't the only ones credited in seeing these lights, as there were many witnesses from Texas to New Mexico, all witnessing the same lights. However, Captain Edward Roplet decided to conduct an investigation on the matter, and including the evidence handed in by Carl Hart Jr. to his conclusions after talking to one of the locals, stated that it might have been just a bird with their underbellies reflected with the city lights. Many excused his comments as they knew what they saw. Either way, the Lubbock Lights incident does persist as a very captivating event to researchers to this day. Number 6. Levelland. If there are extraterrestrials who obtain higher levels of technology that is more advanced to our civilization, there's a chance that we might notice a bit more in our day-to-day. In movies where they showcase it with the lights flickering, power outages, etc. For a more scientific outlook, it could also be that they're carrying a high frequency of electromagnetic field that can affect our homes as well as our human health. That is to say, so many movies up to this point have been inspired by the incidences that transpired, and thus birthing more content for the science fiction genre. Like in 1957, when dozens of citizens of Levelland, Texas individually reported seeing a rocket or strange light that has interfered with their vehicles. Even though the police themselves were about to dismiss the case, they too saw the mysterious lights and tried to engage and investigate. Their findings with electrical storms and ball lighting was the cause of the lights and the mechanic to malfunction. However, there was never a single report of thunderstorms in the area that night. Whenever something falls from the sky, there's almost an immediate report to the object to officials to see what the heck it was. Considering we do live in a world where space and aircraft are more prominent, it wouldn't be surprising if something did fall from the sky. Although it would be very rare since that would be extremely dangerous. But in December 1980, U.S. Air Force members stationed at 2 British Royal Air Force bases reported seeing strange colorful lights above Rendlesham Forest. One man who entered the forest to investigate noted a spacecraft in the woods. The next day, others confirmed the damage done by the nearby trees and noted high levels of radiation on site. Lieutenant Colonel Charles Holt recorded his observation on the radio tape that he latched onto the lights. The UK Ministry of Defence, who oversaw the reports until the early 2000s, didn't find anything that would impose a credible threat to the nation and didn't pursue the investigation any further. Still, the craft or the evidence still left behind still remains unanswered, as they have not been reported what it was that they found. The Rendlesham Forest is now a UFO tourist hotspot, as the trail that visitors can hike off to is actually sitting in the model where the reported spacecraft was. Number 4. The Belgium Wave. 1989 was the crossroads between the 80s and the new entryway towards the 90s. Around this time, at the end of November 1989, the citizens of Belgium reported seeing a large triangular UFO hovering in the sky. A few months later, in March 1990, another sighting confirmed by 2 military ground radar stations. F-16 fighter jets were sent out to investigate the anomalies and thought the pilots could not see anything visually. They were able to lock onto the target with radar, but the unidentified object managed to flee and the pilots ended up losing them. This time, roughly 13,500 people had been estimated to have seen this incident, making one of the most widely experienced UFO sightings in the modern era. What I am noticing, however, is although the Belgian Air Forces could have not found any explanations and the UK Military of Defence was told to research and investigate further, as soon as they figured the incident was not hostile or aggressive, they just stopped investigating? Weird. Number 3. The lights above the New Jersey Turnpike. Now that we're hitting the early 2000s, it's time to reflect a little bit on what we've learned. So far, we've got unexplained events that date back centuries and centuries ago. From unexplained material that could only exist in modern times, lights flickering, lights moving in tandem in groups, lights that are seen by thousands of people but are dismissed by military government to reduce hysteria, and the UK Minister of Defence not investigating cases as long as it doesn't pose a threat. Light show or no, it's still a little weird, like the lights above the New Jersey Turnpike in 2001. For the drivers in New Jersey, they took their road trip to a halt when they noticed on July 14, 2001, just 15 minutes after midnight, they marveled at the sight of orange and yellow lights in a V formation over the Arthur Kilt waterway between Staten Island, New York and Carteret, New Jersey. The police department Lieutenant Daniel Tyrant was a witness as well as several metro area residents on Long Island. Air traffic controllers initially denied that any airplanes, military jets, or spacecraft were responsible for the lights, but a group known as NYSPI, or New York Strange Phenomena Investigators, claimed to receive an FAA radar data that basically verifies that it being a UFO sighting that night. Number 2. The U.S.S. Nimitz encounter. During a hearing before House lawmakers, an unidentified anomalies phenomena, also known as UFOs, and a retired Navy fighter pilot that testified his experience on seeing a tic-tac looking object while on duty, on November 2004, the U.S.S. Princeton, part of the U.S.S. Nimitz carrier strike group, unknown craft on radar 100 miles off the coast of San Diego. For 2 weeks, the crew have been tracking objects that appeared at 80,000 feet and then plummeting to hover right above the Pacific Ocean. Super weird. When 2 FA-18F fighter jets from aircraft USS Nimitz arrived in the area, the first saw what appeared to be churning the water, with a shadow of an oval shape underneath the surface, and then a few moments later it happened. A white tic-tac shaped object appeared above the water. It had no visible markings of an engine or wings or windows, no signs of it being an animal or a submarine or infrared monitors or an exhaust. Black Aces Commander David Fravor and Lieutenant Commander Jim Slate of Strike Fighter Squadron 41 attempted to intercept but accelerated right away, reappearing 60 miles away and then moving 3 more times at the speed of sound faster than the speed of fighter jets. There is US government footage of the encounter online. If you get a chance to see the video or any of the footages I mentioned on the list here, drop a comment and let me know what you think it is. And finally, number 1. East Coast Go Fast video. Considering how advanced technology is, we're not sure what is real and what isn't. After all, there are filters, VFX editing software, things that can make it seem like it's there when it's not, so on and so forth. But when the news leaked in 2001 about the Advanced Aviation Threat Identification Program, a video emerged that revealed an encounter between F/A-18 Super Hornet and an unidentified aerial phenomena, seen along the east coast of ATFLIR, or Advanced Targeting Forward-Looking Infrared Pod. Nice name. The craft was similar to that was spotted in San Diego in 2004, the one that I mentioned in number 2. A fast-moving white oval about 45 feet long without wings or exhaust plume. Pilots tracked the object at 25,000 feet above the Atlantic as it flew away and simultaneously rotated on its axis. No explanation since has emerged. Well, there you have it, folks. Do you believe in UFOs or UAPs or whatever it's called? There are things out there that we just don't know yet. Maybe it's not in the stars, but it's always resided on Earth and we're just not paying attention to it till now. Who knows? But I think it will be really nice once we do find out. I'm Jessa. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and be sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.